Right, before I attempt this question, I want to give you a simpler version. Imagine in a bag, a container, I've got 3 red counters and 4 blue counters, all mixed up. What I'm going to do is work out the probability of picking a red counter at random, so without looking. So remember, all the counters are mixed up. I want to know the probability of picking a red counter is obviously going to be 3, because it's 3 red counters out of a total of 7. So let's suppose I pick that red counter and just throw it away. I don't put it back in. So now, what is the probability of picking a red counter? Well, there's only 2 left, isn't it? 2 out of 6. Now, if I was to start from the beginning and ask a slightly different question, right, the question is going to be, what is the probability of picking 2 red counters? Remember, I pick one up, but I don't put it back in again, and I pick another one up. So what's the probability of picking 2 red counters? So what I do is I take the 3/7, multiply it. It has to be multiplied with the 2/6. That will give me 6 out of 42. 3 times 2 is 6. 7 times 6 is 42. Right, that answers that question here. Right, that's a simpler version than what I've got over here, which I'm going to explain now. For this question, I am going to use Algebra. If you want to read the question, please pause it right now. Okay, John has an empty box. He put some red counters, blue counters in the box. The ratio of the number of red counters to blue counters is this. Red to blue ratio, all right? So there's 4 times as many blues than red ones. Linda takes out at random 2 counters from the box. Just like I did at the start of the video, I showed you a very simple example where I took 2 reds out. And then what we did with those 2 fractions, we multiplied them. So remember that, we multiply. The probability that she takes 2 red counters is given as a fraction, 6 over 155. How many red counters did John put into the box? So that's my x. So what I'm going to do, since I'm going to be using algebra, I'll make that an x, and obviously I'm going to have to make that 4x. So that's a total of 5x. So to take the first red counter out, it's going to be x out of 5x. Okay, hopefully you can understand why. Obviously the total is 5x, that goes on the denominator. Then, well, straight away you can see here, I can cancel that. That comes out as 1/5. For the second red counter, it's going to be different. The denominator, remember, it's going to be 1 less. If you've taken 1 out already, it's going to be 1 less for the total. It's actually going to be 5x, which was the total, minus 1, because we've taken 1 out already. And the numerator is not going to be x anymore, is it? It was x, but now it's going to be x minus 1. So that's the probability of the second red counter. Remember, we need to multiply these 2 together, just like we did before, all right? So we'll just do it over here. That's going to be 1/5 multiplied by the second fraction. That's going to be equal to this thing over here, because it says here the probability that she takes 2 red counters is this. And the probability of taking 2 red counters is also this thing over here. All right, so I've made them equal to each other. So I need to find the value of x. It's going to involve some solving. What I'm going to do, I'm going to get rid of this denominator here, divide by 5. So I need to times by 5. Do the same on the other side. Probably need more space than this. Right, the 5's divided by 5 is knocked out by times by 5. I'm just left with this thing over here is equal to, well, times by 5, obviously that affects the numerator, so that's going to be 6 times 5 over 155. Right, 6 times 5 is obviously 30. That's obviously 30 over 155. That can be simplified. If I simplify that on my calculator, we can just divide by 5, top and bottom. That's going to be 6 over 31. Right, let me just write it clearly over here. X minus 1 over 5x minus 1 is equal to 6 over 31. What I'm going to do here, right, because I've got fraction on both sides, I'm going to bring the 31, this denominator here, 31, to this over here, and this 5x minus 1 to the other side. I'm going to crisscross. So if I bring the 31 over to the other side, that will be 31 multiplied by x minus 1. Then bring this 5x minus 1 next to the 6. That will be 6 multiplied by 5x minus 1. Right, expand the brackets now. Expand the brackets here as well. Right, I've got x's on both sides, so what I will do, I'll get rid of one of the x's, one of the x terms. Instead of the 31x, I'll get rid of the smaller one, 30x, so take away 30x. Do the same on the other side. (31x) take away 30x leaves me with just 1x. Right, these cancel, you're just left with minus 6 on the other side, plus 31. These cancel, you're left with x is equal to, well, minus 6 at 31 is 25. So what's this value of x then? How many red counters did John put into the box? That I was representing as x. So x is right there, 25. I've got my answer. Right, this is April 2021. I've never seen that much snow outside. It's snowing very heavily outside.